Words are about to be spoken here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, presented to you by the ad-free shows and podcast Heat Networks. I am John Alba. That is the broken one, woken one, spoken one himself, Mr. Matt Hardy, coming to us from the Hardy compound this week. What's up, my man?
Oh, here hanging out. I flew home this morning. I have less than 24 hours home. And then this weekend, if you guys are in the Providence, Rhode Island area, I hope you guys come out and see me. I'm going to be at the Rhode Island Comic-Con on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to be a blast.
So nothing you'd rather do than be at home for less than 24 hours and taping the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, knowing that any member of the gaggle could just vault in at any moment's notice.
Yeah, anyone except Maxwell. I think Maxwell is off the board tonight. He's feeling a little under the weather, so he's got a bad tummy ache. He's chilling upstairs.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm probably going to have a bad tummy ache when we get into some of the nitty-gritty of this episode, because we have a very unique topic here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy this week, as we are going to do a watch-along of the time that Matt Hardy won Fear Factor. And it is going to be a fun episode to look back upon. And I've never seen it in full, so I look forward to doing that. But before we continue to move forward here, Matt, there's a lot going on in the world right now, inside the wrestling world. And we got to hit on some of the happenings that will be affecting the House Hardy and, of course, AEW. And that first one, Matt, we are coming to WrestleCade with a very special presentation. What would that be, my friend?
Becoming broken, which is going to be amazing. We touched on this. We did a multi-part series of podcasts covering the whole transition into becoming Broken Matt Hardy. But we're going to do it live, and we're going to have one of the guys who was there and was pretty influential in it as well, especially through the Big Money Matt stuff. And that was EC3. He's going to be there. He's going to be a special guest host. My buddy, who I won my first major title from, Ron Simmons, he's going to be there. Damn! It's going to be a great time. Queen Rebecca is going to be there. Gothic Baby will be there. And you never know who else is going to pop up.
What would ever become of Broken Gothic Baby?
I don't know. I think Broken Matt Hardy and Gothic Baby would be great friends, though. Just if we weren't even father-daughter, I think they would be great friends, because they kind of like the same stuff. You got a little bit of a dark sense of humor.
For sure. No doubt about that. Well, we are so excited to bring this show to, as Matt said, we covered this in long form on our Becoming Broken series, available in the archives, extremehardy.com. And now we are bringing it to the stage at WrestleCade. Pick up your tickets now, WrestleCade.com. Friday, November 24th, 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m., right in that general wheelhouse. We're going to be following up the GCW show that's going on there. 3 days in a row, Matt Hardy. WrestleCade is going to be bringing that family-friendly fun to Winston-Salem. This is one of your favorite events of the year. Brother Nero is going to be doing a live concert after you guys wrestle your match at WrestleCade. Just going to be a fantastic time. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. So many of the House Hardy peripheries going to be there. What do you love about WrestleCade?
I mean, it's great because it's in my backyard. It's 100 miles away. Without a doubt, we are in Hardy country, and I was one of the guys they kind of leaned on heavily to get WrestleCade started. I was the guy who was the first champion. I kind of kicked off the show. I did so many things there in the past. In some ways, I feel like I'm the godfather of WrestleCade. And just for everyone that's watching this and listening to it, watching or listening, bright and early Friday morning tonight during SmackDown, WrestleCade is going to announce who has accepted our open challenge. That match is going to be made tonight during SmackDown.
You may be the godfather of WrestleCade, but there are no who's allowed here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. That is one of our rules for sure. I can't.
No lies detected, John. No lies detected.
WrestleCade.com. Go get your tickets. It is going to be an absolute blast. Cannot wait for that. So AEW announces this week, Matt Hardy, that Ric Flair's coming in. This one kind of came out of left field. We saw Rick start showing up last week with Sting as Tony Khan's special gift to Sting. Now it's a multi-year deal with Ric Flair coming into AEW. It's been a pretty polarizing reaction to it. What's your take on that? I know Rick is a big Hardy Boys fan in his own right.
He is, and I'm good friends with Rick. I've always gotten along well with him. But it's really interesting. Honest to God, I just expected Rick was there through Sting's final match and his retirement, which is what now, like 4 months, 4.5 months. I figured that was the run that Rick was going to do, and then he would be finished. And he's doing something with his energy drink as well, I know. But lo and behold, he is signed for years. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that very opinionated and very outspoken AEW fan base react to him as time goes on. It's going to be really, really interesting.
That it certainly will be. We'll be following along as that transpires and we let it play out. And speaking of let it play out, I want to remind you guys right there, if you're watching, you click that little QR code, you scan it, and it's going to take you right to the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy merchandise store, boxgimmicks.com. If you're not watching and you're just listening, head on over to boxgimmicks.com and pick up your Extreme Life of Matt Hardy merchandise. Wear it to WrestleCade. Wear it to any of these conventions where you see Matt Hardy. We love to see the podcast representation. I know that's one of your favorite things when someone comes up to you at a convention or a signing and they tell you
it's the best.
They love the Extreme Life, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you have something like this podcast, which, John, you laid out the idea originally. We were in Chipotle. That's where we first met, and we started talking about it. And you said, okay, let's do this. Let's give it a shot. When you start at the very bottom and you have a very grassroots type project and you work your way and you continue to build your way up, it's something that you love like a child because it's your creation and it's something you've poured all your passion and love and energy into. And that's how this podcast is for me. I know it is for you as well. So yeah, we love when people come up and they say, oh my God, I love the podcast, or I listen to the podcast every week, or keep doing the podcast. You guys do a great job. Just little by little, we continue to grow. We continue to get the word out there, and it becomes a little bigger. The snowball keeps gaining size and speed as it rolls down the hill.
Certainly. So you can show your support for us too by leaving that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, any of those, YouTube, leaving a comment. That all goes such a long way. So we really, really do appreciate that. All right, Matt, I don't want to waste any more time here because we got this whole episode to get into. So please, without further ado, hit us with that Matt Fact.
Matt Fact: Matt takes supplements 3 times a day.
And what do you mean by that?
I have 3 different sessions during the day. Very much a creature of ritual, as I've said in the past. So when I wake up, I take a Prevagen, just because I have fell on my head a few times over the last 32 years. I take a Prevagen, I take a fat burner, and I usually take some sort of pre-workout, or it could be almost like an amino pre-workout I have too, something like that before I do my cardio. Then after I finish my workout, I come up, I take a Tamiflex, which is for your joints, amino acids, a test booster, and then I also take like an amino acid. And then right before I go to bed, that's my very last session of taking supplements. Once again, I take a couple amino acids. I take my test boosters twice a day. I take fiber, and I call it a day. But it's just every single day. It's over and over and over again. I have to make sure to take those things with me. It's very much my routine, and I don't ruin it. I stick to it every single day.
Oh, man, you gave the internet quite a bit of fodder there where you talked about falling on your head a few times. That's going to be all over there. Matt Hardy concussed doing his podcast.
There you have it.
Surprised he didn't suffer a concussion just talking. Goodness.
I'll let them go nuts, man. Let them have fun.
These people.
If you're one of those fans online, they get mad that the wrestling internet wrestling reporters post stuff and we make headlines because we talk about interesting stuff and we have interesting viewpoints, interesting opinions. And if you get mad about all that and you don't like me and you think I'm a pariah, fine, have it your way. There's plenty of people that don't, and those are the people that I'm catering to now, because once again, even at AEW, myself and Jeff, we've been very, very nice for a long time. We were willing to give back and give back and give back. But now we really hadn't been shown the respect that we should have been getting all along. So now we're going to stop giving and we're going to start taking. So we're not becoming heel. We are becoming real. And you are going to see the most realistic version of Matt Hardy that you've ever seen coming up in the future.
I like the sound of that. I think that's a great way to go about moving forward here and trying to plot that path for you and brother Nero into the future. And hopefully we'll see some good opportunities for you guys coming up soon in AEW. And the fans will just have to proverbially suck it, as one man with 3 H's used to say.
I mean,
okay,
hey,
Matt.
To the malcontents out there, keep doing your thing, man. I'm sitting here smiling.
I don't know. This week I went from being an AEW shill to a WWE shill, so it's very difficult. You know, as Wolfgang Hardy once said, Matt, it's very hard.
It's very hard. Yes.
It's very hard living life as a double agent for AEW and WWE.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Alba. John Alba.
I'd say shaken, not stirred, but we know I'm not letting my hair get either. So that
was one of Lord Wolfgang's very astute mottos and sayings. Sometimes he comes through with some real magic.
He's right. Life is very hard. It's very hard. Yeah. It's not wrong.
Yeah, you're right. I don't hate it.
He's not wrong. Okay, Matt. We're going to watch Fear Factor here. I'm going to queue it up. I'm going to leave a YouTube link because I can't find anywhere to stream this. It might be on the cock. I'm not sure if it is. It could. You could queue up the cock. I'm not sure. But there is a YouTube link that I'm going to leave in the description if anybody would like to watch along with us. And we're going to watch it from the start here. And if you're watching via YouTube, you're not going to be able to see any of it. There's going to be a copyright thing over it, but we are going to talk through it the entire time, and you're going to get some anecdotes because this is one of the more unique editions of the extreme life of Matt Hardy because I've never heard any of these stories, and I'm very excited to. So, are you ready?
I am, but I gotta throw in one little nugget here. You just said cue up the cock, and I love that. That's kind of like a reoccurring phrase, right? It's a reoccurring motif here on the extreme life of Matt Hardy. So, my wife wanted me to watch a Halloween movie, and I was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "How about The Bride of Chucky?" And I mean, I remember the first Chucky. It was a little more creepy. I think that's all I watched. A little more serious, right? I said, "Sure, that sounds good. It would be fun. I've never seen it. Cool. We'll watch it." And oh my god, it was absurd. But it was actually on Peacock, right? And I said, "Oh shit, okay, you're queuing up the cock," and she's like, oh, "Matthew," she's almost like she's had it. It's like on her last nerve now because anytime she talks about Peacock, I hit cue up the cock because that's our go-to, man.
It is. It's our bit.
It's one of our things.
She needs to listen to more of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
Yeah, it's a good shtick.
It is a good bit. I'm with you. Yeah, I invented it, but who cares?
Yes, you invented it. You're the creator.
All right. Well, we are not going to waste any more time. Let's get to it. Cue up your video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. The classic, dude. This just, I think perspective is needed here. Fear Factor was one of the biggest shows in the world at this time.
Yeah.
Who approached you about appearing on it?
I want to say it was one of Talent Relations secretary. I think they reached out and contacted us, but they said it's a big deal. It's going to be a big opportunity. And one thing that might surprise people, like, we're going to watch whatever 40 minutes here. It's 40 minutes on an hour TV program, but it took us 3 days to do this deal. We did one of the challenges each single day, and that's how this whole thing worked out. But yeah, it was a big deal, and they wanted people that could really represent WWE as good as possible. And it was really cool that Jeff and I were the first 2 people that they reached out to because they probably knew we were the craziest too.
So you guys were the first 2 people that they reached out to?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this like Fear Factor was tailor-made for us, especially then when we were young and healthy.
Yeah. Team Extreme. Was Was this something that was a no-doubter for you when they asked?
Oh yeah. That was good. Honestly, honest to God, I'd watched I didn't watch the show before. I didn't watch anything because we were so busy at this point in our career, right? But then I went back and started watching some once I knew we were going to do it. And the one thing I was worried about was like having to like put my head into a box of spiders or tarantulas or whatever. That was the main thing. I was like, man, if it's some food and eating stuff, I have a stomach of FE. You know what I mean? I can eat anything. You got that reference too. I love that.
Yes, I do.
So yeah, I mean, I always said, they said like, are you worried about the eating challenge? I said no. I said like my dad cooked first growing up. I said I was used to eating nasty shit. That was always my inside joke, right? So yeah, I was cool with that, and I was really happy that we had an eating challenge.
We're going to get into that when we reach the eating challenge, because if there's anything I could not do, it is undoubtedly that, like without question.
Yeah.
So Brother Nero is the first guy they're showing here.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people probably would have thought Jeff would have been the favorite in this thing.
Most people did. I think a lot of people did. But then some people, like you asked Shane Helm, Shane said, no way. He said, especially if they have to eat something, he said, it's Matt through and through. You know, he knew, you know, that I had this unrealistic, monstrous stomach.
Yeah, that's going to play a big part of this episode. So we saw Jacqueline there as well. Now, Jacqueline, she's a badass, isn't she?
She was. She legitimately was. She always has been, and she was then. She was great. And I got more one-on-one time with Jackie during these 3 days than I ever had before in the past, which was very, very cool. And I enjoyed getting to know her, and it was fun that it came down to me and her at the end. And I'll never forget. We'll see it later on, but when we're doing the last challenge, she is froze there, and it was probably like 15 or 20 minutes before she would move, and just myself and Joe Rogan were just like making fun. We were trying to like encourage her, but we were kind of making fun of her as well. And it was so funny. They cut it down, you know, to like 90 seconds or whatever it is, but literally it was 15 or 20 minutes. It was crazy.
We saw Test there. We saw Lita there. We're seeing Molly Holly right now. When you see Test, Matt, is it a little bittersweet for you? I mean, I know Andrew Martin's not someone that comes up a ton on our podcast, but he was someone you were in the Funkin' Dojo with, and you were there running the territories with him in those early days. Is it difficult for you to see someone like him?
Yeah, we came up with him in the system. So yeah, and we got to know him really good. And he had like this, he put on this front, you know, he had this veneer, you know, that he was this arrogant guy, and but he was really a very nice, kind guy. But he had that sense of humor. His sense of humor was almost like, you know, I'm arrogant or I'm narcissistic or whatever. But he was great. And it's sad to think about his story and all that he could have been, and the potential he could have had, and the amazing life he could have had for himself. So it does, looking back at it, it is heartbreaking.
Take me through this. So our first challenge here is going to involve you guys trying to climb a ladder that is hanging off of a helicopter. Are you made aware ahead of time of what the challenges are going to be?
No. I remember they walked us out on this pier, and I was just like, ugh, like, are we going to have to do some kind of swimming or diving? And then I'll never forget, it was such a great reveal. This helicopter came flying across, and then the ladder was hanging down. It was like going around in circles. They said, okay, the first person or whoever can climb into the helicopter the fastest, you know, from the men and from the women will, you know, 100% move on to the next round or whatever. So that was like the challenge. So we did not know. We had no idea what we were in for that day.
That's so crazy. So are you signing waivers or anything like that before you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you sign waivers. You sign your life away.
I was going to say, can't be responsible for any of that. So when you see a challenge like that is in front of you, are you feeling pretty good about something like that?
I'm thinking right there. I'm like looking, and you know what I'm saying? Because we ended up picking number. We did something where we picked out stuff and it determined the order that we went in. And I said to myself, like, thank God I'm not first, because I'm sure there's some strategy behind this. So hopefully I can learn from the others' mistakes. So I was hoping to get a good peep on this and figure out what was the best way to do this and do it as fast as possible.
I mean, we know how fearless you are in the ring and stuff, but you're not dealing with heights quite like that. Do heights make you anxious at all?
Um, at this point, not at all. Now that I have kids and I have, stuff to lose and I need to be healthy, yeah, it's tricky. And one of the things that was super hard from this is just starting on the very bottom of the ladder and hanging there, because you literally, as it's going in a circle, that means your body weight doubled or tripled. They gave us some statistic of what it was, but then you literally have to pull yourself up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's all
So
upper
that
body strength.
it's all upper body strength right there. So we're just figuring that out. So like, once again, when these legs started hooking and there was a way to turn yourself up, I said, oh, that there might be something there. Like, let me put that in my back pocket and keep it in the back of my mind. As far as like falling off this ladder and going in to the ocean or whatever, I wouldn't have sweat that. I'd been all good with that. I wasn't concerned or worried about that. I literally, I mean, I wanted to do good on the show and win, almost just
Yeah.
for like a bragging right, for my own ego and pride, I guess.
Yeah, so the idea here is to get up the ladder into the helicopter as quickly as possible.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the notion there. So
Whoever was the slowest on the men's team and the women's team, or if you fell, then that means you were eliminated. So
yeah. Did you feel confident that everyone here would be able to accomplish this?
I did. And I'm gonna share all my secrets here in just a minute. I kind of half-assed sabotage Jeff, I think, because I gave him some bad advice. So you'll see that in just a second.
Up next is Mighty Molly here. What do you think? What do you think of Molly Holly as a compliment to your friend, the Hurricane?
She was really good at it. She was like willing to go all in. And once again, if you're doing a character or a gimmick like that is so extreme and over the top, you have to be committed to it. And she was committed to the bit, so that's very important. Like if you really want it to work, you have to be committed to it. And it was funny too, because she was such a nice, quiet, very like good, by the books through and through and through, female. It's like it's almost fun to see her out there and kind of step out of her comfort zone and do something crazy.
Yeah,
now,
and
immediately turns the legs up, you know what I mean? Sticks the legs in there and then starts going so you can get your feet underneath you so you can use your feet a little bit. And I take a note. I was like, oh, that's got to be the way to go.
Yeah. This is definitely one where being the first to go is at a severe disadvantage.
A massive disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the time to beat for Molly here is 1:55. That's what Lita did, and now
Molly, she's up there almost, yeah.
Yeah, she's 50 seconds in, and she's nearly at the window.
Yeah.
And there you go, 1:25. For a lot of people like me, it is very difficult to maintain your workout regimen when the seasons start to change. Your routine is going to change when the weather starts to shift. You're not going to have access to the outdoors, or maybe your personal life changes and you lose access to your gym or equipment that you had in the past. We know that working out is full of positives, but sometimes we have to adjust on the fly. You want to sleep better. You want to look better. You want to feel better. But as you get stronger, sticking to the same old routine can lead to a plateau in results. So let me help you keep your momentum going on your progress with Fitbod. Now, Fitbod is an app that creates personalized workouts based on your goals, abilities, and your gym setup while helping you track and visualize your progress along the way. It is extremely accessible. It is so easy to navigate. And I know that when I'm on the road a lot, just like Matt Hardy, because I really do. I've tried. I'll tell you guys this. This is truth. I am down 15 pounds over the course of the last month and a half. And that's because I've changed my lifestyle. And Fitbod has been a big part of that, because when I'm on the road, I've been on the road 3 times in the last month and a half. I'm trying to get access to different workout equipment. It's going to be a completely different setup at every hotel that I'm at. And with Fitbod, I can customize my experience to what is available and then be able to build positive fitness habits off of that and stay consistent. Fitbod's powerful technology understands your strength training ability. It studies your past workouts and it adapts to your available gym equipment. The app intelligently varies your intensity and volume and tracks muscle fatigue and recovery to design a well-balanced workout plan. The app keeps your gym sessions fresh and fun by mixing up your workouts with new exercises, rep schemes, supersets, and circuits. And you can keep track of your achievements and personal bests with Fitbod's all-new progress tracking charts while learning new movements the right way with more than 1,000 exercise demonstration videos. It's never been easier to get results you've always wanted. Check out Fitbod. Get 25% off your subscription at fitbod.me/Hardy. That's fitbod.me/Hardy. 27 seconds. Molly is in. So the pressure is on Jacqueline here to have to try and beat that. You would also think the smaller you are, there's probably more of an advantage. Like a guy like Andrew Martin, Tess, probably a little bit, even though he could cover more ground, the nimbleness might be a little more difficult there.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. And also weighing more too.
Right.
He was a big fan of, he would say like, just, he would say, hey, what's going on, Jobber? You know, that was like, that's very much a Tess thing. You know, anytime I kind of hear that word, he just used it regularly. He thought it was the funniest word ever, like from when he was being trained. And he said, hey, how you doing, Jobber? What's up, Jobber? And he would just smile and laugh about it each time. I always, it was very much an endearing statement whenever you'd hear from him.
Where is this? Is this California?
Yes, it is. It's California. It's outside of LA. Yeah. Can't remember the specific beach, but I remember it took us about, because we were staying in LA right downtown, and we were in a van or a bus or whatever it was that took us out there, some shuttle, for like almost an hour to get to where this was. So this ended up being a long day. I mean, because they did like, first we got there the first day, we had to do all of those shots you saw in the beginning, like where we were shirtless and whatever. We did a whole bunch of different shots, and they did the opening, and we had to do all these liners. Andrew just hit me with a joke. And then we ended up getting in the shuttle. We went here, we did this challenge, and we did all this. They obviously shot many different, very much like isolated shots during this, obviously. So this took quite a long time to do, you know, and they cut it into a very nice package.
So about how many cameras are there with you, if you can recall?
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Isn't that crazy how they cut all that down? I've just always been fascinated about the live production of a reality show like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was probably 5 or 6 cameras, and especially because there's like a lot of stuff going on, because you're wanting to record these people, and you're getting that wide shot, and then you're cutting back to get expressions from the people in the group.
Okay, so Jacqueline is climbing now. She's got to beat 1:55. She's 30 seconds in. She's about halfway up the ladder.
And she did the deal too, where she rolled up and hooked her leg first, right?
She did. She's slowing down a little bit though.
Yeah, she's making this look like it's gonna go into extra innings. Looking like we might have a tie here. Well, she's picking up the 14 in.
Here she goes.
That's a crazy view. Even you see that view out of the helicopter there.
And she is nearly there. She's there at 1:33 seconds into the helicopter. So Lita's out. Jacqueline and Molly are moving on. How high up would you say that helicopter is?
I would probably say it was 30 to 40 feet over the water, just depending on how up and down it is. I think the ladder was 18 feet long that we had to climb up.
And you're not on a harness or anything. You're freestanding there.
Freestanding, yeah. We just have a life jacket. That was it.
Curious how that would have gone these days, because it feels like a pretty substantial head injury could be sustained with a fall there, which you know a thing or two about.
A little bit, yeah. I've had just a couple.
I've
had a couple.
As your body rapidly decays on you. Yeah,
I saw some guy on Twitter that was mad at you. Did you happen to see that? it was like one thing about the podcast said the way he always talks about your body deteriorating. Get rid of John Alba. No.
It's a bit, guys.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Here we go. So
I was
I'm going
trying to
first.
come up with a kayfabe reason to put Matt Hardy at a disadvantage within the context of a match.
There you have it. Trying to get a little sympathy on me.
That's right. That's all it was. It's just being a good baby face.
So how do you think you're gonna do? I said, I think I'm gonna do good. I think I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, you felt good about this?
I did.
Even with the Jimmy legs, huh?
Yeah, they're probably mentioning the Jimmy legs already. The Jimmy legs just got more Jimmy as those leg drops continued this time.
Look at that shot.
That's cool.
Man, you had a chiseled jawline. Looking stoic.
Here we go.
There
Immediately, I knew to hook the Jimmies.
Struggling.
And my Jimmies were good too. he's explaining the Jimmy legs to Joe Rogan.
Yep.
And then I decided to go up the side too because that's what Molly did, and she had the best time. So I follow her lead.
Yeah, I mean you're cruising here.
Yeah.
And wow, look at that. A minute in, you are in the helicopter officially at a minute and 1 second.
And I remember right there, Jeff was just saying, just, oh, that was a good time. Because everybody, expected him to win this deal.
Yeah.
So here comes Test coming to do it.
You felt pretty good about that.
I was upset it was over a minute, though. I wanted to do 58 or 59 seconds. That's why I know I did that, because he said it was 101. I was like, damn it.
It looks like the wind was really whipping that night.
It was. It was very, very windy this day. It was also chilly.
When in the day is this? I can't tell if it's sunrise or sunset.
It's a little later in the day because we had to do all that stuff that morning. So it's probably 3, 4.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a sunset. A sun is setting, I think.
Okay. So Brother Nero is going to take a shot here.
So, and I tell Jeff before, I said, dude, I thought I could break a minute. I said, I think where I messed up is using my legs. I said, if I did just use my upper body strength and pulled myself up, rung by rung, I said, I think I would have went under a minute. I said, that's the way to do it. That's the way to go.
So you were ribbing him.
I mean, I may have tried to leak some bad advice to him. He just said, what do you think? What's the best route?
You were ribbing him. That's amazing.
It's every man for himself, brother, in the WWF.
Did you sense any fear from him?
For Jeff? I could just tell he's like, oh, Matt did. I can see Matt did it really good. And what we're gonna watch in a second, I feel like when he knew he didn't beat my time, he just said, fuck it, I'm gonna go out big. And that's why he ends up crashing and burning off the thing. I promise he did. He said he was blown up and just he said his upper body was burnt trying to pull himself up with his upper body the whole while. But I think he just did it to steal the show, just to once again just have everybody talking about his crazy spot. Jeff's notorious for that.
Pulled a wild shot. Pulled a Ron Simmons, get in and get out.
Yeah. And he's doing it, pulling himself up with his upper body.
Yeah, you're right. You got in his head.
I did, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's struggling.
And it was so, once again, you're they said if it's going around with the what is the term whenever you're going in a circle, the inertia, or what, that's not even the right term.
Well, you're pulling G-force as you're going around like that.
Yeah, but your body weight is 3 times what it normally is.
Yeah,
something crazy.
All right, so he just surpassed your time, so you're moving.
Now, look, he's all the way up here, and he's like, "Look, I didn't win this. Fuck it, I'm going out big."
But I don't get that. He's at a minute 19, and then there he goes. He wipes out. He's the first person to wipe out. I don't get that because he very well could have beaten Test here.
Yeah, he would have, I think.
Look. I think deep down you knew he did that on purpose.
I guess that was my speculation for sure. And then
yeah, he's right there. Look at him. He was right there.
Bam.
That's him. He wanted to feel that. I think he wanted to feel that bump.
Maybe it's a possibility. And also, I think he's like, oh well, if I leave and get out of here, I get to go home. I don't have to stay out in this place because Jeff's very much. He's always been like that. Like he just wants to be home. So it's 3 days.
Well, the prize here is $50,000 for
a charity
of your choice. You chose the American Cancer Society.
Yes.
Why'd you choose that?
Just for my mother, just like she died of cancer, when we were very young. So it was always a big deal to me. I'm not a fan of cancer. Cancer is just such a terrible, sinister, disease.
I'm having a blast with this, by the way. This is great.
Yeah, this will be fun.
All right.
I think I hit him. I said, all right, I said, good luck out there, jobber. I was feeling pretty good, man. I was,
Man, when he came in as like the bodyguard for Motley Crue, could you not come up with a more perfect like embodiment of what that guy looks like?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like a big bad bodyguard.
Mm-hmm. The very dramatic helicopter shot.
So now he's going head over heels here.
Yeah. He knew. He learned from Jeff's mistake too.
He was a big guy too.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to do that,
he was very big. He was very athletic too.
Yeah. Let me see.
Very athletic.
He was
6'6".
He was 6'6". Honestly, I would have pegged him to be even taller than that.
Yeah. I think he was like legit 6'6". I think they may have like said he was 6'8" or whatever.
So all he had to do here was finish. He just
had to finish.
Yeah. And he's struggling to, but
yeah.
There he is on the copter now, and in 2 minutes and about 17 seconds, he's able to get into the helicopter. So Jeff had this thing won.
Yeah, he did. But he had the stunt man inside of him came out.
I think he wanted that no mercy bump,
Yeah, right. It was very, very reminiscent.
Okay, so Tess, Molly, Jacqueline, and you are moving on to the food round. Which we had no idea what the next day was, right? Okay, so you get a day of rest here.
Yep. We go home, we sleep. Jeff took a red eye home. And now we go. This was once again, we went to like this real weird cultural area where there were all these interesting restaurants and shops and stuff in LA. I can't remember the exact part, but then we went down to this place and they had it all lit up and done up all creepy and spooky. This would be something my wife and Gothic Baby would be all into.
Very much so.
And once we found out it was an eating challenge, I was like good with it. And then like Andrew was like, fuck. I remember he was so frustrated by it.
So for those of you who never saw Fear Factor, don't remember this, the eating challenge, it's not how much can you eat, it's what are you eating. And they would throw all these absolutely disgusting things at you. They throw it at a blender and you had to drink it.
Yeah.
And we're about to find out what those things are. I have it written down, so we can take a look through it. This is nauseating.
I remember too, like they went through everything. There's what is it? Is it cow testicles?
Okay, so here we go. So pig brains is going to be the base ingredient.
Yes.
Yep. And then there's pig intestine, durian, which is disgusting, animal fat, rooster testicles, cow eyes, veal brain, spleen, cod liver oil, bile, and fish sauce.
Yeah.
So do you believe this was all shoot?
Yeah, I mean, they apparently paid scientists a lot of money and people a lot of money to just make sure that you could mix all these things together and it wouldn't have a terrible adverse effect on people. I mean, that was the whole thing behind it. And also that was my rationale. I was like, oh, well, they can't give you anything that will intentionally make you sick.
No, but it's just a matter of can you stomach it? NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You're going to start the season with an instant dub. And with DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at even bigger basketball wins. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code HARDY. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code HARDY. That's HARDY. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, KS. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, LA. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. All right, guys, we had a bit of a recording mishap as we hit that part of the episode. And you may notice Matt is in a different background right now.
He teleported. I hate it. He teleported. I hate it. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I'm not going to even feed into that one. But Matt is now in Rhode Island and no longer at the Hardy compound.
Yes, I'm in the quaint city of Providence.
Yes. So we will be able to finish this episode in peace, and I look forward to it. We are sorry, sincerely sorry. This is the first time we've had almost 100 episodes. This is the first time we've ever been late, and I take a lot of pride in that. So,
and it's on me. If anybody's mad, give me the heat.
It's on Elon Musk's Starlink. That's what it's truly on. So
yeah, well, give Elon the heat. He needs to make a better product.
So we are going to go to 2344. If you were watching along with us. Molly Holly is about to roll the dice to find out what she's about to eat. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So what I was saying, Matt, was I don't think that it would come down to a matter of what am I eating. I think it would come down to I don't feel like I can actually stomach this. Like she has to drink bile, codfish oil, and I missed what the last one there was, but like I just don't know if I could physically get that down.
Yeah, I mean, and two, I mean, I think it would be even extra challenging for you because if they happen to throw like scrambled eggs on there, you have a problem.
Get that out of here. Get that out of here.
We are what we are.
But it's so funny because that's the only thing I wouldn't be able to take down of like legitimate foods that people eat. You throw anything else at me, I'm good.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, so you tell me what was the most appalling about all of these? Because I assume you got to smell most of them. Like you're about to smell the codfish oil, I believe.
The codfish oil was very, very bad. The bile was really, really bad. I knew whenever I was going to roll my die, those are the two things I tried not to get. I specifically tried to roll them long ways so I wouldn't land on one of those things.
Interesting.
If I could get like those the spleens or the stuff like that just wasn't oily and had that terrible smell and terrible taste, I know it'd be a lot better off.
Well, because they always say you eat with your eyes and you eat with your nose. So if you could smell something that was off-putting, I mean, come on now, like.
I mean, it's just the whole aura of this place. The whole aura of having all the ingredients sitting out in front of you, in their organic form. It was something to behold. I mean, it was like a lot to take in. So there's already a huge mental aspect going into this. Yeah. And you can see she's She's struggling, man. Bless her heart.
Well, let me ask you this: was it smooth?
Yes, mine was. I mean, I didn't drink theirs, but yeah, it was. They were all pretty smooth. I would imagine they tried to get all different ingredients that would be able to blend up like that, so it would go down kind of in one smooth swallow.
She's crying.
She's crying. Yeah. Oh my God, bless her heart. She's such a sweetheart, good kid, good person, good human being.
And we're exploiting that on national television.
Yeah, look at that. Andrew Martin back there laughing. Thought bubble over his head's going, fucking jobber.
So the base for this, keep in mind, are pig brains.
Yes.
And it's not like they're even cooked. They're like raw pig brains.
Yeah. Yeah, everything was raw dog.
You were raw dog and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had sesos? I know you live with a Latina wife. You know what sesos are? They're cow brains.
Yes. No, I've never had it. She's not big into that. She doesn't really venture off the typical Puerto Rican eating trail.
Gotcha. I've had sesos before, cow brains. Honestly, it kind of tasted like ground beef.
I feel like I have had that as well, but it wasn't even. It was just like cow brains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the English version.
Yeah. All right, so Jackie's rolling. She's got veal brain. Durian.
Yeah, that was pretty rough too. That had a terrible odor to it.
That's a scent. Yeah, and spleen. Yeah. Durian is like one of the foulest smelling.
Yeah,
I think is it a fruit technically? I think.
I'm not even sure. I remember that name haunts my head because I remember the smell of it.
Yeah, it's a fruit, and it kind of it's like spiky,
and
it is like very intense, spoiled bananas and garlic, which sounds pretty terrible.
Intriguing.
Even though I do love garlic, I am Italian.
Yes. I'm fond of garlic as well.
Okay, so Jackie's getting her stuff blended up. You're looking on. What are you feeling here? Is it anticipation? Is it nervousness? Is it excitement?
It was. I just, especially after Molly was the first one to go, I was like, whoa, that was like, is it going to be really that bad? Like she was crying. Literally, she broke down and it was traumatic and she was crying. Jackie's toughening, she's like really toughening it up right here. And you can tell mentally she's got herself in a place where she's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Well, and it's like, there's so much you have to drink. That's a gigantic margarita glass.
Huge. It was colossal.
Oh, dude, she is a champ. Look at her.
Yeah.
I feel like she didn't get that bad. Like she got the veal brain. The durian is a fruit. Like people eat that. Yeah. That's not something that people don't eat.
Yeah.
And the spleen, it's just kind of, I don't know. I look at it kind of like a chicken liver kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, right. The spleen, like those were days off. Well, I was really happy when I rolled those. I was hoping to get 3.
Okay, so she took it down. She's moving on to the finals. She's got a milk mustache right now.
I might have one of those.
Yeah, you do. All right, now it's Tessa's turn.
This was all comedy. I almost wish we could go audio up on this, but it's so funny.
Cod liver oil.
That's a bad one.
Bile. Oh, dude, the thought of
that's a bad
bile.
one.
Yeah, the thought of drinking bile.
Yeah,
and rooster testicle.
Yeah, Rooster Jules. Yeah, he knows he's done. I can see it in his face right there.
Have you ever had Rocky Mountain oysters?
No.
Never been an affinity for bull testicles?
No, I've never had them.
I know you've been to Denver many a times.
Yeah, not to say that I wouldn't, but I've never had them.
Yeah, would you try them?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never say never. In my life, I'd never say never.
Yeah, I would try Rocky Mountain oysters. I try them. Yeah. You're not just eating straight up bull testicle. Like they deep fry it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're grinding a bull testicle into a blender here.
Right.
Look at his face. He's trying to be tough as nails.
Yeah. he's broken right now though. He's broken.
Broken test.
Yeah, he's mentally and emotionally broken. He knows it's over.
Well, what would Broken call him? The exam?
Yes. That's funny.
All right, bottoms up. See, that was his mistake right there. He should have never done that.
He does it again. Look.
Yeah, should have never done that. That was a mistake on his behalf.
So there ends up being a lot of beeping. He's like, "Fuck that! Fuck that! No way! Fuck that!" Now he's about to get into a fight with Joe Rogan.
Well, now Jackie can give him shit, right?
Yeah, Jackie can't give him shit.
Oh, he takes one little itty bitty step. He goes, "Nope, I'm out."
Yeah, and he's going, "Fuck that! Fuck that!" Look at that face.
He pats you on the chest. He says, "Go get him." Wow. Andrew Martin, he weaseled his way out of that one. He Jeff Hardy'd that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what he did, Matt? He jobbed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
He turned into a jobber.
You roll spleen.
Yeah.
You roll a second spleen.
As I come on one more.
And animal fat.
Animal fat. Animal fat was the one that was stinky.
Okay. But we consume animal fat all the time.
We do. Just this particular version they had was smelled very bad. Everything else, the pig brains and the spleen, like I would have no-sowed all of that because it was, if it'd been 3 spleens and the pig brains, they were all right.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Now,
so I still felt pretty good about this. I knew that animal fat was like, you know, if you're ever eating like a good piece of meat, but then there happens to be like a little piece of like the fat on it, that's almost like got that weird taste and weird texture.
It's not rendered.
Yeah. So there's one point where I'm drinking all this down and it hits me a little bit and I stop and I pause and I like get it together mentally and then I go ahead and knock it out.
Okay. So you say cheers and you just go in here. Is this the worst thing you've ever tasted?
No.
Look at you. See, okay, you're cheating a little bit here.
You're right. Yeah. I used it to my advantage. You're right.
You wanted to make as big of a mess as possible.
Yeah. I was going to make a spectacle.
This is a tapestry if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Is this where it hit you right there?
Yeah.
So what's hitting you? The taste, the smell?
Just like the taste of it inside your mouth, like right before it's going down your throat.
Yeah. So there you go. You chug that. I mean, half of it's all over you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's psychology, huh?
Yeah, you lost a couple out. You lost big hug for Joe Rogan. You lost a couple ounces there.
It's so Jackie, I rubbed my face on them both. And the funny thing was there, I knew if I had some on my mouth, I'm working smarter, not harder necessarily.
Right. It's the Eddie Guerrero method.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the equivalence of you throwing the chair at the referee.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
It was chilly this day. It was cold this day.
This looks like a fall day in Cameron, North Carolina, quite frankly.
Yeah. You see we got our jackets on. Who would have guessed we were in Southern California?
So you're walking to this outdoor compound and you just see these giant sticks. You have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe Rogan is showing you these giant totem poles. There are flags on each of them.
And I knew when they said you had to bend down and keep your balance and do flags, I was like, well, it's going to be tough for the Jimmy legs, brother.
So for this one, it's not so much the fear, it's more the challenge for you.
Yeah, I mean, this was just hard because it's hard for me to hold my legs because my legs have never been like straight up and down, like normal people do.
No,
Like,
you're bow-legged.
well, also I went like, yeah, I mean, but I went and I had x-rays of my pelvis. My pelvis is anatomically wider, like my hip joints.
Yeah.
My bones come out further. You know what I mean? So my legs are bent like that. So my knees just go wide as it is anyway. And then obviously, especially now in 2023, just all those leg drops for 10, 15 years, doing them, 4 or 5 times a week, didn't do me any favors to my lower back and pelvis, hips as well.
I do. I'll tell you, man, even just watching it, I love so much. I love seeing those vintage Hardy Boys neon shirts. I've told you I'm so much of a mark for those because those were my first wrestling shirts I ever owned. So just seeing you rocking those, it must have been right around this time. This episode aired in February 2002. So when do you estimate that it was shot? If it aired in February, when do you think it was shot?
Only a few weeks before, maybe a couple months before. I want to say it was like December or so.
Okay.
So it was, yeah.
All right. So what we don't see is they are showering you with water right now.
Yes, there was water raining down on you. Look, they're making fun of the Jimmy legs already.
So you have to go from totem to totem with the rain coming down and capture the flag on each one. And there are, it looks by my count, 5 or 6 totems.
Yeah, I think there's 6 there, and each one went up by like 8 inches or so.
Yeah,
9 inches.
So you don't have to. You don't have to worry about falling. You're on a harness here.
Yes. Yeah. If you fall, and you can go back up.
It's just you have to get all of the flags.
Yes, you have to do all of the flags.
And then you have to put the flags underneath like a band on the...
It's just like Velcro. You just would plop it down like on the Velcro where it would stick. Doing
pretty well here. Minute 52 in.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping your balance.
I mean, those things too. I mean, like they were like, I think started like 35, 36 feet, and then the next one, they go up like a foot each one.
So, okay, I'm following now. So each totem has a flag. You can't just collect all the flags. You need to go one by one.
Yes, you have to do them one at a time. There are 3.
Oh, look like you're about to fall, and we get a commercial break.
I'm about to eat it. And as you can see too, I'm wet as hell. It was like very hard to see because the rain is coming down.
That's no surprise. For single Matt Hardy.
Yeah. Well, there you have
it. Sorry, Mama. All right. So you fall for the first time here. Want to step aside for a quick second, everyone, and remind you that this episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy is presented to you by Game Time. Game Time has got you covered for all of your last-minute ticket needs. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, wrestling, and theater events all near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You guys know my deal. I've told this story many a times. It was very important for me to see Bruce Springsteen on tour, and Game Time hooked me up at the very last second, 45 minutes before the show, and gave me enough time to get over to the arena with a killer deal on my ticket to see the Boss. It's one of my favorite concert-going experiences of my life, and I have Game Time to thank for that. With Game Time, you can see the view from your seat before you actually buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena or the stadium or the theater, wherever it may be. All-in prices, they show you your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without all those hidden fees, and you can buy those tickets in seconds with just 2 taps on the app. And I want to tell you about their zone deals because I think this is one of the coolest things about Game Time. With their zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time's going to credit you 110% of the difference. So how can we make this reality? Let me tell you how. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code HARDY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code HARDY, HARDY, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Get back up. And it's all muddy, too, so now your shoes are muddy.
Mm-hmm.
Climbing back up. I feel like a challenge like this very much works in your favor.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, this was very much in my favor.
The adrenaline is not of concern for you.
This is I jumped off that one. This is one of the times, like, if I would have if this would have been the first challenge against Jeff, I would have been in trouble because Jeff would have been excellent at this. He would have been really good at this.
Jeff was good at the other one. He just chose to bail out.
Well, I mean, yeah, he chose to become a stunt man.
Yeah.
And get everybody talking about his hot spot.
He didn't do anything poorly in that other one. He would have moved on. He was fine. He just chose to bail out. Oh, okay. So
I got it. I got it on the way down.
Before you swanton bombed off that.
I remember every time I fell off, it was fun though. It was fun doing that with that harness.
When you're on a harness, you got no worries, right? Like you're fine.
No, I didn't switch it.
6:57 now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to complete the last one, I believe, here. So you complete the challenge. Okay. And what's the final time here? 7 minutes and 7 seconds, 8 seconds, and then you do a dive off. So 7 minutes, 8 seconds. That's the time that Jackie's beat. Good showing here, Matt. Were you feeling good about that time?
I was nervous because I was like, just once again, just balance issues. Like if my feet could have been wider, it'd been much easier for me to bend down at that point in my life. But with my feet being close, I knew the Jimmy legs were going to be, they were going to be tough. I felt pretty good about it, but I was a little concerned. But then Jackie put me at ease pretty soon. So
how far was the distance between the totems?
Between the poles?
About 3
feet. Maybe like 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
Oh, it looks a lot further.
Yeah. Probably 2 feet. I would say that's probably a fair guesstimation.
All right. So she is on the first one. She's about to start.
Yeah.
Clock begins now. You can tell she is freaked out.
Yeah, she is.
The height is definitely bothering her.
So also Jackie's real short, keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
She has short legs too.
Yeah, even that is just a struggle for her getting to the next one.
Yeah.
See, if I was alone up there without a harness, the height would freak me out. But with the harness, if I've got a harness on, I'm good. I don't care. I'll do anything.
Yep. And that's what she was like. She said, "Get me down." She said, "Get me down." She said, I'm too little. I can't do it. Get me down. And we said, "You can do it. Come on, Jackie." And like, remember how I told you it seemed like the way it's edited, we do this for like 90 seconds. This was probably like 10 or 15 minutes.
Now you're moving up.
Like, so you can do it. You can do it. I mean, she was up there 10 minutes before like she eventually came down.
Well, they have her at a minute 20. So this is not shoot. This is not shoot a minute 29 where she's at right now.
Oh, I mean, it could be, but what I'm saying is, I think whenever we run up like that and we're motivated, because she like starts crying, we know you can do it. You can do it. I mean, it lasted like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she's crying, and she said her mascara was running in her eyes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she said, "Just rains on my head. My mascara's in my eyes. I'm getting wet. Get me down. Get me down."
She's 2 minutes in. She hasn't even gone to the next pole yet. And he's asking her, "Are you done?" This is an I quit match right here.
Yeah.
And she says, "I quit." There it is. Matt Hardy is the Fear Factor champion.
So that went a little bit longer. That they played with that a little bit.
Okay.
We heckled her for a little bit.
Interesting. Interesting. So
and it wasn't even heckling. We were trying to. No, you can do it, Jackie. You can do it.
You were being a good guy.
It wasn't heckling. We were trying to motivate her, but too, like, once again, we knew like she was done. She wasn't moving. She was not going to move at all.
So $50,000 to the American Cancer Society. How'd that feel, man?
It was good. It was fun. it was fun, and I'm glad it was donated to a good cause, and I really enjoyed the experience going out there and doing it. I'm glad I got the opportunity to.
That was really fun to watch back.
That was a lot of fun.
Fear Factor was a great show.
It was. I mean, like you said, it was huge. At one point, it was like must see TV. It was a big deal.
Yeah,
and it was so cool that we were chosen to do it, and we got the opportunity to do it.
There was a lot of integration with game shows with WWE at the time. They did The Weakest Link. I remember. Right, I think it was right around this time too.
Yeah, they did. And also, I want to say that they did a Family Feud sometime around that era. I always wanted to do Family Feud too. I dug Family Feud.
Mm-hmm. What's one game show that Matt Hardy never got to do that he would have loved to have done?
I mean, Family Feud is one for sure.
Maybe a little Deal or No Deal for Big Money Matt.
that would be fun. That would be real fun for Big Money Matt. Yeah,
that's a vignette idea for you. Just letting you know.
It's not bad. Good idea. Good creative. It's so funny. You were saying this about we were talking about Test earlier, and just some of the memories I have. One memory I just wanted to share real quick that was great, and it involves everyone's not favorite wrestler, COP, right? So whenever we were at the Funking Dojo, and we would go off during the weekend, and we would do these spot shows, which would be like independent shows here in the Northeast, to really take the training and everything we've learned and like apply it in these matches. We had a show that we were doing. It was myself and Jeff versus Christian and Test. And that was the match, right? So we were doing that deal. They were the bad guys. We were the good guys. Good guys win in the end. But Jeff had one spot right from the beginning where they go and they jump us. We turn around. We get them out of the ring. They land down in the aisle, like by the ramp or the entrance, whatever. And Jeff said, and then I'll like jump out like I'm going to do a crossbody, but I fake you guys out. Then I'll jump up the top rope and I'll do a moonsault off the top. I say moonsault to both you guys. And Andrew's like, okay, all right, okay. And Jeff said, okay, great, cool, let's do it. And then Christian came up to me and Jeff after Andrew had left, and he came up and he said, Jeff, we're getting ready to start TV, and we got the call that we're going to TV the next day, right? He said, we're getting ready to start TV the next day. Sure guys debut, and I'm debuting, doing this thing with the Brood. He said, I'm kind of worried about you doing that because I don't think we should take that risk because you might get hurt. And Jeff said, no, man, I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm not going to get hurt, man. It's all good. You guys just spot me. He said, well, I'm worried I might get hurt. He said, I would rather not do this because I'm worried I might get hurt. And then I remember Tess would walk back up to the conversation. He was like, fucking jobber.
He was.
What a fun memory.
Was he a good brother?
Tess?
Yeah.
Andrew? Yeah. Yeah, we get along with him good.
Yeah.
One thing, a very, very, very fun memory of mine, right? The very first time we go to Titan Towers, which was a big deal. During our first Funking Dojo, we did two of them. Our first Funking Dojo, the first person that we saw was Teddy Hart, and he said, oh yeah, seen you guys on TV, two great guys, whatever. He said, I want to warn you guys, you got to watch out for that Jay Riso, you got to watch out for Glenn Colke, you got to watch out for Andrew Martin. You can't trust those damn Canadians. He said, stick with me, I'll make sure everything's good. And it was so funny,
a little ironic.
That's a funny story that really happened.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. You can't trust Jay Riso.
Our very first night, but it's crazy just how great we bonded with Jay Riso.
No, but I mean, he's not wrong. You can't trust him.
Yeah, no, you can't trust him. Can't trust it. And also, here's something else that he Christian admitted this to us, and we may have said this when we were on the podcast jokingly. But he said he was real mad when he heard we got signed because we didn't sign for a little while before we went to a Funkin' Dojo. And he's like, how did those Hardy guys get signed? And he said, I remember you guys were having a match against Furnace and LaFon, and I knew you were talking to WWE and stuff. And Jeff went for that aside moonsault off the top and slipped and fell down on his back to the floor, right? And Jay said, I got so happy. He said, I hated those Hardy guys just because they got signed and I didn't.
It's so crazy to hear that because I feel like that too when I was in college. I distinctly remember my freshman year, first week, you see all these people around you that are trying to study the same things that you're doing. There's only so many jobs out there in the industry, and you're like, these are all my enemies. Like, I'm gonna take them out one by one, and then those people end up becoming your best friends. And you're supportive of them, and you want them to succeed. And there's so many parallels in different walks of life with stuff like that. Oh, that's so funny. And now look where you are.
And now look where I'm at.
Honestly, with all due respect to the legend, I'm shocked that Christian hasn't come after you.
Yeah, there you have it.
It seems to be his gig.
There you have it. Yeah, you're right. Who knows?
We'll see.
Maybe he'll get there eventually.
Maybe that's how you get the match.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they'll come out doing that.
That'll be the call.
No one's gonna understand it. No one's gonna have any clue, but you're gonna pop each other the whole time.
I heard that at TV Wednesday. Turn around, Adam Copeland.
There you go. There it is.
That's like our call. That's our call to one another.
That's great. I love that. Those are the things that are going to stay with you for many years to come. Hey, this was super fun, man. I really enjoyed doing this, and any outside the box episodes that we get to do are just awesome. Yeah. So I am hoping that everyone got a chance. If you didn't watch the episode with us and you just listened to us, I hope you were entertained by it. I was entertained talking about it. And if not, if you get a chance to watch along, definitely do, because this was an experience, and it really does bring you back to a great time in pop culture.
Yeah.
That time with Fear Factor and all the game shows and reality television was just taking off. American Idol was about to start. It was such a golden era of television, and seeing you as part of that, man, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a great time. I remember we went and had dinner every night, like a real nice dinner, like the crew that was there that was left that didn't go home. I mean, Jeff went home that very first night, but it was cool. We had a good time that week too. We got to spend some nice. Sometimes when you're with people you work with wrestling, like in an area, it's like work. It's really nice when you get to sit down and just kind of like have a dinner and break bread and like shoot the shit. Even like when, I was up in your neck of the woods and we went and we had that little Asian food, that Asian fusion place, man. Those times are fun. It's nice just to kind of be able to like
not think about work.
Yeah. So we got to do a lot of that those nights when we were at the Fear Factor.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love hearing that. I'm glad you got to have those memories and those experiences. And hey, Becky Lynch is going to be on Celebrity Jeopardy in the coming weeks. Keeping that wrestling tradition strong. She's a smart cookie. I suspect she's going to do very well on that.
Good deal.
One of my best friends was on Jeopardy last year, and he absolutely shit the bed on the biggest stage possible. And
really?
And we have not let him live it down. As if any of us could be on Jeopardy in the first place. But
I could not. That's Wheel of Fortune is a show I dug a lot when I was young too. That'd be fun to do. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. No, he did really bad in the first round. And then in Double Jeopardy, out of nowhere, he just swept a category about vampire literature. We had no idea he knew anything about vampire literature, but he just swept it. And he got himself into second place going into Final Jeopardy. Right. The leader was at 20,000. He was at 10,000. So all he had to do, regardless, was go all in, right? He had to bet 10,000 to have a shot at least tying first place, because first place didn't have to bet anything. And the first place person bet $1 and they got it wrong. My friend was the only one who got Final Jeopardy right. So had he bet the most obvious bet, which was just doubling his amount, he would have won the game. And who knows, then he goes on a 40-match win streak, right? And he walks away with thousands of dollars. Instead, he panicked in the moment and only bet $3,000. So Twitter mutilated him. I felt so bad because we didn't know how he did. They taped it 2 months in advance. We didn't know how he did. He wouldn't tell us how he did. So I tweeted out, I'm like, hey, tune in to my friend at the Benny C on Jeopardy today. I'm tagging him, all this stuff. This is back when I was verified, so my shit actually got seen by people. And all of a sudden, when he shits the bed, I get all of these hate tweets towards him. I totally dragged him like, you fucking idiot. What'd you do? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But then I called him. I'm like, you fucking idiot. What'd you do? What do you do? Again, as if any of us could have been on Jeopardy. So
Good stuff.
And I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of you. I would have loved to have done a game show. I've always wanted to host a game show, and I would have loved to have been on a game show. So
Be a good gig for you. You'd be good at that. You'd be good at that. You could fix your hair up real nice, do the whole show.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we want you to be part of our little show here. You go on over to advertisewithhardy.com. You get in on the fun with us, promote your business to the extreme, promote your product to the extreme, get it out in front of thousands of listeners every single week here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Another week in the books, my friend. You got some busy travel. You're on Rhode Island. In a couple weeks, you'll be out in Los Angeles. It's going to be a long road for you. Anything else you want to throw out there?
Lots and lots going on. Just you guys keep tuning in. Once again, I think myself and Jeff, there's some evolution coming up going forward. And as I said earlier in this episode, it's not about becoming Hill. It's about becoming real. And I think you're going to see probably the most realistic versions of the Hardys you've ever seen, especially from like a persona thing, where you're going to see like more of us and any frustrations we might be experiencing that really kind of stands out, and we use that as fuel. But, very, very base, very real. Even if you follow my social media now, I am making much more content that is like true to my everyday life and stuff. Even there was a video I released yesterday where Wolfie had made me this Valentine's Day bracelet, and I told him I would wear it until it falls off, like I wore it nonstop. The only time I would take it off is when I had to tape my wrist and go to the ring. But then I wore that nonstop, and eventually it broke, right? And then like a week later, it was Halloween coming up, and then Maxwell actually made one for me as a gift, which was very, very sweet. So thoughtful.
That's awesome.
But stuff like that. That's the best benefits. And I even titled the little video "Children Have Made Me Better," and they really have, man. Just what a gift. I couldn't even imagine my life and like what I would do daily without kids now.
Imagine what the multiverse would be had you not been able to stomach all that spleen and animal fat. Could have been on a totally different path, Matt Hardy. Who's to say? I'm glad you're here. I know it's very hard being Matt Hardy, but when you got the kids, life's going to be a little better. And I hope that everyone tunes into the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy every week for stories like that and for good times ahead, because we have many ahead, especially at WrestleCade. I hope we see a bunch of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy faithful out there for our live presentation of Becoming Broken.
Very excited for that. It's gonna be great. This is gonna be our best live show yet. It's gonna be star-studded, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun interacting with myself. EC3, Rebby will be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys.
You will have become broken, and the words here have been spoken on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. We'll see you next week.
Delete!